This Miami Dolphins betting preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Circus Sports. Circus Sports is giving away $14 million this NFL season. Sign up in Vegas and play from anywhere. Get all the info over at circusports.com. We're also brought to you by our Patreon. Score exclusive perks, content, and contests, including our NFL win totals contest with a $1,000 prize. Join today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Two-a-days continue. So much so I walked out into the other room to do something and I forgot because I was too busy thinking about drinking from the hose. No, it was the hose water. By the way, yeah, I mean,
hose water gets to your brain, right?
You've seen all these studies about the carcinogens and other various things in the water.
Oh, you're turning into a tap water truther. Look out.
I wouldn't say I'm a tap water truther. I'm just saying maybe it's the hose water and not whatever you're trying to blame. When I have a moment in a second, I'm going to go make sure I come back and look the part. YouTube.com/sports gambling podcast.
Kramer, I noticed you're wearing all black. I'm wearing all black. Is it because we have a Dolphins funeral in store?
Oh no. Oh no. How dare you?
Stay tuned. Of course, it's going to be fun to go back, reunite, re-look at what we got going on with Tua. And we will be joined by Big Rob, aka Dolphin super fan as well. Always entertaining to have Big Rob on. Again, a guy who just hated our takes on the Dolphins, wanted to combat us, and had him on. We're cool like that, Ryan. Speaking of cool, have you guys signed up for our Patreon yet? Of course, you get a chance to win the $1,000 in the NFL win totals contest, and got you covered with Kramer's spreadsheets. You have access to that, the weekly contests, bunch of cool other things we got going. We're going to be playing some episodes from the archive, like our first ever episode, the bonus SGP stories podcast that's dropping pretty soon here. So a lot of extra stuff, a lot of cool stuff. And again, you're doing your part in the war against corporate gambling. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We're also brought to you by Parlay Play. Again, if you listen to the early show, I gave out a nice little day baseball player prop, Outman over a half total bases that cashed. I mean, you couldn't go wrong in that Dodgers game. And Parlay Play, again, super fun way to combo MLB player props and NFL player props right around the corner as well. They have 100% deposit bonus up to $100 when you use the promo code SGP. Available in a bunch of provinces in Canada and a bunch of states in the great United States of America. ParlayPlay.io, promo code SGP. Kramer, let's get to it. Let's start talking about the 2022 Miami Dolphins.
For the record, I'm waiting. All my bonus money's going on NFL props. Only plus EV opportunities.
And I think it was Todd chatted back. He's like, "What is the rollover requirement? All you have to do is whatever the bonus is, you have to play that once. That's it."
What do you mean? I don't need a calculator to figure it out.
No crazy like 10x playthrough. Basically, whatever you deposit, you got to play that because you can't just
withdraw the bonus.
No, well, you never know with people, but yeah, you cannot just withdraw the bonus. You have to play it once and then you're good to go. So
we had to make a rule when we were
plus
kids,
EV opportunity,
because this one dude that would play cards with us would win a hand and then try to leave.
Yeah.
So we started putting time limits. Then he would adjust to where he would just go sit on the couch until the clock ran out. Anyway, it sounds like you got to play it once. That's pretty awesome. All right. As you noticed, Sean, and again, if the
Ryan first outfit change ever, I think in the history of the Sports Gambling Podcast, YouTube.com,
definitely not
/Sports Gambling Podcast. Put on a new shirt, Ryan.
Well, I like to, if you're watching these videos after the fact, of course, if you're listening, like most of you are,
yes,
you wouldn't see me. But if you're watching after the fact, just wanted to make sure I look like I didn't in the episode we recorded earlier today. So movie magic. I have my, Air Jordan shirt because representing the great city of Miami, and our merch store.
Two great things we support.
Real quick, a lot of times cities will have a unified approach to colors in their uniforms. Not Miami. No,
Miami nowhere close.
Almost like they just did a bunch of blow and pick the colors.
But I think
most, right?
What? Most? No. I think it's just Pittsburgh.
Is it only Pittsburgh?
Yeah. What's another city that
I don't
does
know.
it?
It's the first thing that came to my mind. And as you're saying that, it's pretty. I guess
I like the idea of more cities doing it, but
yeah, a lot of blues in the New York teams.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't say like the Giants and the
Mets and Knicks is the closest example. And Islanders, maybe they have similar colors. But you're right. All right, I withdraw my comments and. Miami. I
do like how
I was just trying to get to the cocaine.
I do like with these team previews, the haters enjoy them almost more than the fans of the teams, because I see Patrick Fisher in the chat, known a Bills fan, and Bills Mafia DGen, always down for some Dolphin slander. So I feel like as soon as we put out the going live notification, everyone wants to hop in and hear us shit on their rivals. And we'll see. Straight up last year, they were 9-9. Of course, lost that playoff game. They were 10-8 ATS. Win total was 9. Although I feel like we usually shade it one way or the other on the win totals.
I do specifically remember complaining that the place we were getting win totals from last year had flat numbers, resulting in cowardly pushes.
Well, so
here we are.
There was a push. You had them 7-10. I had them 6-11. So I guess fortunate to get out of a push there. DVOA, they were 8th overall. Offensive DVOA 7th, defensive DVOA 15. Pythag wins 8.4. So slight over performance. Yeah, I mean, obviously the big story with the Dolphins were they started out incredibly hot, just red hot. Tua looked like an MVP candidate. Caught a couple concussions, and they just couldn't get right after that. I mean, that to me is kind of their story in the season, if you want to simplify it.
Yeah, basically when Tua isn't being taken down by the ground,
yeah,
and hitting his head on the ground.
Well, he knows judo now, so he knows how to fall.
Some mix, because I thought it was judo, which would make sense, right? Judo's all about like balance and falling the right way. But then I heard him say jujitsu this off season. I also saw him looking thick as fuck.
He did look like he put on some weight.
He looks like a thick island boy.
I don't know if that necessarily helps.
Actually, I take that back. Is that like a modern reference I wouldn't under? Are there someone called the Island Boys that I shouldn't be referencing? I feel like my daughter made a comment about it.
there are the two guys with the crazy tattoos known as the Island Boys.
Okay, Two is a thick island man.
And maybe Josh can pull up. These are the Island Boys.
Oh no,
they do that thing.
No.
They go, we are the Island Boys.
I mean, I hate Tua as much as the next guy, but he's not this. He's island strong. This looks to be weak in many different ways.
Oh, they like
get
tattoos.
This off the screen, Jay. Get this. Get. I mean, I love islands. That's not islands.
Plenty of face tattoos.
That's not islands at all. All right, so. Tua looking thick, looking like he took it like the concussion thing seriously.
Well, again,
and he didn't just go to water.
Ask Ben Roethlisberger if putting on weight prevents concussions. I don't know if it does. I don't know if it necessarily does.
He's still throwing a catchable ball.
Yes, he is. I mean, Dolphins quietly were a very good team, ATS, especially at home. Since 2015, they've been covering 60% at home, second best against the spread for a home team during that record. And again, we always talk about it. Playing them early is always super tough. Of course, you remember Crampgate, where the Bills went down there. They do everything they can to put the opposing team out in the sun. And
so it should be.
Yeah, no, it is a legit home field advantage. As far as
by the way, those great numbers you highlighted, that post dates Wildcat. So who can forget that electric experience?
Great time.
Yeah, I mean, last year, I'll say this: when I was going through last year, I do think it really is like if you're a Dolphins fan, you really have to be like, man, if he stays healthy.
Oh,
They
it's a
lost
great what
by a
if
field
season.
goal with Skylar Thompson in the playoffs to the Buffalo Bills. I think, say what you will about coaching trees and disciples, and McDaniel might actually be better than Shanahan. He might actually be cool. Like, no way Shanahan is going to be vibing with fucking Tua and Tyreek Hill in the same offseason.
This team was 8-3. And then with the Tua injuries, they lost 5 in a row to go to 8-8, and then won that insanely ugly game 11-6 against the Jets to get him in the playoffs. And then they hung around with the Bills. I mean, what was that spread? 9.5, 10 points. We were all over the Dolphins there as a dog, and they really had a chance to win that. I mean,
and there are things that you can say that are fair reasons as to why they should take a step forward. Now you could argue, hey, Tua's never really been healthy.
No,
Teddy Bridgewater also have had injury issues, so maybe that should have been more expected. Fine, but even if you look at the performance outside of that on defense, you look at the way that they were just horrible on third down, but much better on first and second down. That generally points to regression. They blitzed a shitload, but got home very infrequently.
Yeah, I mean the defense was really an issue. Second last in the league in creating turnovers. They only created 14 turnovers, and they had a -7 turnover differential. So that actually is a positive sign.
Well,
and
specifically the pressure stuff I mentioned, because they're going now from a scheme with, I believe the old defensive coordinator's name was Boyer, to Vic Fangio, which of course we know Vic Fangio is going to do the opposite of blitz every down, and they're going to keep a lot of stuff in front of them. And we've heard what McDaniel has said in the offseason about why he hired Vic Fangio, not only getting like a grown ass man to coach your defense, but also grabbing the scheme that you personally found to be most difficult to go against. So yeah, I think when you have an offense like that, McDaniel probably looked in the mirror and said, you know what? I don't need to shoot 3-pointers on defense every play. I just need a solid defense. I need that bend but don't break. I don't need them to force a turnover every. So,
but the Fangio system is good at creating turnovers. Like they disguise stuff.
But through risk and pressure, you don't need to do that if you're going to be putting up 30 points a game like they were in half their games when Tua started and finished.
It's really interesting. Now, if you want to pull up the key additions, key losses, talk about the roster here for a second. I mean, unfortunately, key addition and key loss in the same year, it appears to be Jalen Ramsey, right? Because they're talking about
he's done.
It's not officially done, but they're saying 12 weeks, stuff like that, where it's okay. Maybe if they make a playoff run, he comes back healthy. They haven't officially ruled out his season, but obviously, having him at cornerback would have been a huge boost for them, because right now Eli Apple is one of the starting quarterbacks for the Dolphins, and I think if even with the Fangio defensive scheme, I think you got to be worried about him on the back end.
I mean, just the stories about them, McDaniel checking with Tyreek Hill first before signing Eli Apple.
Yeah, they got some beef.
Tyreek Hill now saying he loves Eli Apple being being a teammate because he can embarrass him every day at practice. I mean, maybe he's referring to the famed ping pong battles that are happening down there in South Beach. Look, I think first of all, Jalen Ramsey was coming in to be the number 2. Xavier Howard, the number 1 cornerback. So it is worth noting that it's not exactly like they lost a linchpin piece to the defense.
No, but obviously I do think that would have been a nice boost for them.
Sure. I do wonder if Eli Apple might be able to play in this system and be fairly productive. I mean, he wasn't the worst thing on some of those Bengals teams. And I think most importantly, just the way the front 7 is going to play, I think varies most drastically with this new scheme. And I think that's the area we're going to see just be mediocre, just be average on defense. And I think you're very easily going to be a double-digit win team. And honestly, like to me, the biggest acquisition, not chosen Anderson, AKA Robbie Anderson. I kind of, Braxton Berrios is going to be an interesting weapon on this team when he's lined up with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and like a bunch.
Yeah, he's just a reliable slot guy who's going to rack up some PPR points.
How's the slot?
Also, I didn't do much in the draft. I mean, they lost a pick because of the tampering with Tom Brady, and then they lost another first round pick because of the Bradley Chubb trade. Bradley Chubb, 8 games. Only 2.5 sacks. I think you want to see more out of them. On the other side of the ball, you know, okay offensive line. They were 24th in pass block win rate last year, so you want that to be a little bit better. They do have Teron Armstead, who is very good, but also a guy who's had injury issues. Right, he missed 13 games past 2 seasons, so obviously you're going to need that left tackle to stay healthy. For me, I wouldn't have spent any draft capital on a guy like Devin Achane.
Ooh,
I would have spent
spicy
everything I can to keeping Tua upright and keeping his brain safe. I would have went all in on the offensive line. I think they missed the boat a little bit on bringing in some bigger guns, either in the draft or free agency, offensive line wise.
All right. Yeah. I mean, look, I think McDaniel's approach is probably like, let's just get more explosive guys at the running back position so we can have speed. But yeah, I hear you. And like Tua will continue to remind us. It's not, he didn't get hit by a person. It's the ground that caused these concussions. So he just has to learn how to go down better and he'll be fine.
Yes.
Also, Mike White greater than Skylar Thompson.
No, Mike White. Yeah. Which again, if Tua does get knocked out again, it's certainly pretty decent backup. Saw some flashes for the Jets. So
will we get a Mike White thinks he should be the starter before week 1?
Will we get the teammates rallying around Mike White, wearing the Mike White t-shirts?
We'll have to get Big Rob's take on that.
Yeah. All right. What do we want to break down the odds? We should bring up the odds.
Well, we got Rob here. When do you want to talk? Do you want to get his take on the off-season stuff? I feel like sometimes there's always a fun Homer take on who's lighting up camp.
All right.
Yeah, you know.
Before we get Rob on.
There you go. Now the ball was on the tee.
Hey, you guys, Circus Sports. We got the Circa Millions and the Circa Survivor contest ready to go. $14 million up for grabs. 5 NFL picks against the spread each week for the Circa Millions. Circa Survivor. Again, you guys know how to play NFL Survivor. I don't need to explain it to you. Enter in Vegas, play from anywhere, and we'll be out in Las Vegas signing up ourselves for the contest. Come join us. Come out there, crack open a cold one.
A cold one.
Yeah, I lost my voice there. Crack open a cold one.
I'll do a shot.
Kramer will do a shot
for the patrons.
Well, it's going to be Kramer's birthday, August 24th.
What?
Through 26th. We'll be out there. Come out and celebrate Kramer's birthday. Everyone is invited.
Private information.
Circusports.com for all the details. Get inside them in Vegas. Play from anywhere. Joining us on the line, Miami Dolphins super fan, Big Rob. What's up, Rob?
Oh no.
Oh, Rob's on mute.
Oh no.
We got some mic issues with Rob. Rob, are you there?
Reconfigure.
This almost looks like when the coordinators can't communicate up with the booth. He's got the headset. We are not hearing you, Rob.
Josh will try to figure it out. We'll come back to him. Well, in the meantime, I'll throw the odds up on the screen. We can talk through it.
Sure. Let's go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Win total set at 9.5. Make playoffs -105. Miss playoffs -110. And then division 3-1. Conference 12-1. Super Bowl 25-1. Ryan, it sounds like you are
eyebrow raise.
You are leaning positive to the Miami Dolphins so far.
Yes. I mean, I would say the only thing we didn't mention about last year was like the schedule was pretty tough. I know that you probably have a nugget about how it got harder this year, but I think when you look at what happened, and look, I know it's silly for me to assume Tua is gonna stay healthy, But I am willing to throw it out there that the concussion stuff was fluky. Now, yeah, if he gets another concussion, could we be talking about him being out for the like a long period of time?
You think the concussion stuff was fluky?
I think when you roll backwards and whip your head back and like that, and that causes a concussion. Yeah. Like that's stuff that probably could have been avoidable by just not fighting so hard. Right. Like everyone learns this, like running backs learn this too, where it's like that one extra step when you're already down and out of bounds. That's how like the guy falls on your ankle and you get the high ankle sprain. Tua kind of using all that strength and then getting whipped around. I feel like at some, like, on some level, I'm willing to say like this is not training related. Like obviously him taking hits, yeah, but it wasn't like he was getting commonly ragdolled. Like that was a very unique hit. I'm willing to go out and say that
this show. Sometimes I didn't know the entire time I'm working here with a Tua apologist, a Tua truther, a man. Are you Ryan? Are you going to pick up the Tuanon and carry it for Tua?
All right, I think we have. Yeah, no, I think I am. I think I'm carrying the. I think I'm carrying the. Oh no, we still. This could be Tua. No, we still don't have him.
What will have a better completion? What will work better, the Dolphins offense or Big Rob's audio connection? Because right now it is not a great omen for the Dolphins offense.
I don't know. No.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, so,
but look, I don't. Again, I don't.
It wasn't like he was doing like. All right, so we
but he led the league, or was very like top in the league on holding hold of the ball, like the amount of time he held on to the ball.
Right, and I think I'm willing to trust that Mike McDaniel, outside of Brian Dable, obviously I'm way into that. Like Mike McDaniel showed me he has a system, he can scheme stuff up. And most importantly, unlike Jared Goff, who we talked about on the Lions having a decent amount of luck in terms of his high performance, Tua didn't have a ton of that luck. Tua played well. When Tua was playing well, he was playing well. Obviously, the scheme was supporting that.
You know, Tua just doesn't pass the eye test. Like even
I agree with.
Even when he was balling out, and I think maybe some of it is because he's left-handed, because someone did recut his highlights and flipped them around and did it as if he was throwing the ball righty. And admittedly, I did think it looked a little bit better. It really did. I mean, looking at the Dolphins' schedule, third hardest schedule by win totals. So I think they had a good chance last year. Although they played some tough teams. I think what's concerning to me looking ahead to the schedule is the Dolphins play a bunch of really good quarterbacks, like really top tier quarterbacks. And I think that is where a guy like Jalen Ramsey helps keep you in the game. Like if you have a guy like Eli Apple, he can get exploited. And I think that is ultimately,
but you can help your number two. I think you can help your number two. And I think most importantly, Vic Fangio, very, very, very elite at taking away what the other offense wants to do. So you have a plus scheme and you have a defense with some still good pieces. I agree. If Jalen Ramsey was the guy, like that was the logic when I initially fired. This was, I don't want to ruin it for later, but first bet of my off season was a Dolphins bet.
Wow.
Not including like draft stuff, obviously, but. Yeah, I think Mike McDaniel, again, kind of in the same vein as Arthur Smith. I listened to him talk a lot this offseason. I think he looked very carefully in the mirror at what they did, what they needed to fix, and they made those changes. And the team is set up for that. Now, hopefully injuries aside, we can hopefully see them They have the ceiling of being the best team in the conference, I think.
What do you think their floor is?
Because their floor is exceptionally low because as you mentioned, their schedule is very difficult. They play
very tough schedule.
A lot of teams that
offensive line with questions, a quarterback that, as you know, when he's not in there, their offense doesn't work. Or at least to the same level. So like, I think if it goes wrong with the Dolphins, it could go wrong really, really bad.
Yeah, especially because there's the range of outcome where Tua has gotten hurt again. Tua has some sort of.
Wait, are you predicting that, Ryan?
No. I would never. I actually was speculating that I think the range, the percentage of the pie chart where he gets hurt is less than most people. And actually, in doing the prep for the Dolphins,
now, how are you coming up with that pie chart?
I'm consulting with SGPN football doc.
Ooh,
actually. Thank you.
What was his?
No, I'm just completely making. I was just plugging his Twitter.
What about Ryan? I mean, is it crazy? Miami Dolphins fewest wins, 90-1. The path to them being like a 4-13 team.
So Patriots end up being all right.
Okay.
Obviously the Jets, like Aaron Rodgers is there, and the Bills are remaining to be. So that, like, I think the first requisite is they have to be destroyed by their division, and then the schedule kind of takes care of itself. So we can walk through it. Do we want to try to bring Rob on one more time?
No. I don't think. Well, I mean, we can try, but I don't think his stuff is working.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Rob, are you there? Yeah.
No. All right. Bummer.
All right, Rob, we'll come back to you. We'll get you on at some point here. All right, Ryan. Yeah, let's pull up the schedule. Let's start walking through it, and then we'll give Rob his time at the end to rebut or maybe to hop on, because it sounds like you are all in, Ryan.
Oh, I mean, I was planning on having a celebrate. Yeah, I'm not all in.
Oh, okay.
But I definitely think when you have the situation that has happened in their division, where you have the obvious Josh Allen led Buffalo Bills incumbents plus Aaron Rodgers coming to town and kind of messing up the divisional markets and some other things. Yeah, I like them. So at Chargers week 1, at Patriots on Sunday Night Football week 2. So already just on the road. We kind of discussed this, if you remember, on the Broncos show.
Yeah.
Maybe they're 0-2. Maybe the Broncos at home is going to be a great spot. And then at Bills. So 3 of the first 4 on the road. We mentioned the difficulty of the schedule. I think the bull case on the Dolphins involved them taking care of the Patriots, probably, or at least winning 2 against someone in the division. And that makes the most sense. I don't know if the did they get a home? Are they going to get any of that juice?
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough Dolphins fans that travel, but let's bring on our resident Dolphin fan, Big Rob. Big Rob, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
yes.
Oh,
we got it figured out.
Hallelujah.
Sorry about technical difficulties, but let's get to business.
Yeah, let's go. All right. So obviously, or first off, let's start with you. What was your take on last season in general? Kind of exceeded expectations and then disappointing. Started out hot, the Tua injuries. Give us your take on 2022 for the Dolphins.
Oh man, it started off so great. I don't think I've been that excited, in a very, very long time.
I know, because I was seeing my mentions of like, Sean, you're wrong about Tua. Look at Tua. Tua's balling out. I mean, when he won that Ravens game, I thought, fuck, man, I look like an asshole.
I was getting the Eagles vibes. Yeah, they came out of nowhere and won it, but we didn't have a backup to get us there. But
yeah, you didn't have your Nick Foles, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we cashed that over. I wouldn't say easy, but we cashed it. It was 8.5, so we got that. It came down to the end, but that was a nice little cash right there. Honestly, McDaniels is better than I thought. I remember we talked last year. I was a little shaky starting the year off, but I think just hearing him talk, he's learned a lot, from last year, and I think this year he's going to be even better.
Well, it's funny because I was actually looking at the notes from last year, and I have written down Mike McDaniel, born March 6, 1983, 5'9", 180 pounds. Sean, can you kick his ass?
Yeah, there was a clip we put about, and I stand by it. I still think I can kick his ass. But he did a good job of coaching up the offense. I was super skeptical, but Tyreek Hill had a career year, which is. It's crazy to think you leave the Chiefs and somehow put up better numbers. So kudos to Mike McDaniel. He really figured out a way to get him and Waddle going and get a ton of the offense going. I was alluding as a Dolphins somewhat hater at times. My biggest concerns on back in the Dolphins are the offensive line. And then now that Ramsey is out, a cornerback like Eli Apple. What do you think of the O-line and the defensive backfield, Rob?
Well, we got to remember last year too. Our number 2 cornerback was Byron Jones. He didn't play all year.
It's true.
And the defense was still somewhat decent. Our number 2 cornerback last year was undrafted kid from a DT school, Division II school, Kader Kahu, and he, held up, pretty well. So we have Eli Apple, we have the rookie Cam Smith we drafted, and it sounds like Ramsey's he'll be back probably around November is what I'm hearing. So
I like that.
I think we'll be able to man the ship until then. And also too, Xavier had two pulled groins he played with all of last year, and he's healthy, ready to go. So I think the secondary is going to be a lot better this year.
Two pulled groins. What's he doing in the offseason?
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Wait,
he's like Carson Wentz when he rolled both his ankles.
Does he train with Deshaun in the offseason?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, I gotta pull up this one.
I'm not touching Deshaun Watson.
All right, Rob, enough messing around. Let's get into the schedule because I think that is where I really want to get your takes. Like Kramer said, at Chargers, at Patriots, Broncos at home, at Bills. Very tough spot. I mean, 2 road division games and a West Coast game. I do like you guys for sure against the Broncos. Still some of that September Miami heat. Well, and I think you match up decent against them.
And our official advice for our clients is to wait because the Dolphins will have a shorter number when they start 0-2 and take on a Broncos team that will have an inflated record. So that week 3, we've circled that. That's a game. That's a SGP game of the year. I think that's the only game they win, though.
But Rob, what do you got them going in those first 4?
I honestly, the homer me saying 3, but I think we get at least 2. I mean, you guys remember I'm up here in the Boston area. Stuff coming out of the Patriots camp isn't sounding too good. And I don't think Mac Jones gets rolling with Billy O'Brien in week 2. I can see them being good later on in the year, but I think they're gonna have some growing pains to start the year. So I mean, I like this week 1 too, but I'll go non-homerish and I'll say 2-2.
Okay.
I like the idea of the behind enemy lines with Big Rob.
Yes. He really is. I mean, shout out to Big Rob, just holding it down in Massachusetts, not rocking his Dolphins hoodie everywhere he goes. Do you get a lot of Patriots fans chirping at you when you're rocking the Dolphins gear?
I get it all the time. Not as much since Brady's left. Everyone's pretty quiet. People, they still talk about, we have all these rings, and that's the past. So we're moving into the future.
Oh wow, like it right out of Kramer's playbook. I mean, if I saw Rob walking around, I wouldn't go out of my way to talk shit to Rob. Rob looks like he's got that big beard. Looks like you might be able to. I wouldn't go out of my way.
I
would
say
Rob.
This: if you're wearing Dolphins gear up in the Northeast. All right, that's fine.
You can hold your
carry on.
You got a chip on your shoulder, Kramer. So you're kind of higher on the Dolphins. You're going what, 3-1 here?
Oh no.
2-2.
You want to hear a fun scheduling nugget here?
What's that?
This is 3 of their 7 true road games.
Yeah,
being played in the first.
No,
because
they do. They of course be in the AFC. You got the 9 home games.
I will say, obviously, the Bills game is going to be an interesting one. Getting that game early, probably positive for Miami, considering maybe Tua hasn't had the concussion yet, and 2, Buffalo isn't cold at this point.
So that game coming up against the Chiefs in Germany, they're not losing a home game there.
No.
Right? Oh, so yeah, that's even better.
They have 9 home games and 7 true road games.
All right, I'll go 2-2 because again, 3 road games in the first 4. But I'm with you. I think they'll either win Chargers, Patriots, and then I like Broncos. So 2-2 makes sense.
Also worth noting, Buffalo is looking ahead to their international game there. In that spot, so I want to say it's only 1-3. So I'm just gonna have them split. I think the division. I think maybe I'll have them. You know what? Patriots are a shitstorm right now. I don't believe in Bill O'Brien. 2-2.
All right, next quadrant.
All right, so we got Giants, Panthers, both at home. At Eagles on Sunday Night Football and Patriots at home.
Not winning that one, Rob.
we need a wager on that.
Yes.
I get married the day before, so I'm gonna be hungover as hell for that game.
Oh wow!
All right,
get married in football season. Yeah. Bold move, sir.
You'll regret it when you have to do stuff for your anniversary every football season. Trust me. I learned that the hard way. Kramer, why don't you go first here?
Oh, what do you mean? Why don't I want to? All right, so you 3 home games. you start there.
And they're great they're great at home ATS. I'll start. I think they go 3-1. I think they lose that game against Philly, but Pats at home, Panthers at home, Giants at home. I like all. I think they go 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, I assume I'll go 2-2 again. I'll go 2-2 again.
Rob, how say you?
I'm definitely going 3-1, potentially 4-0. But if they lose the past game, like you might think, that they're not losing the second one. So I'll go 3-1.
You know what? Actually, I'll make it 3-1. Giant Dable and Joe Shane looking ahead to Buffalo the next week.
So everyone has them 5-3. I mean, again, I thought I would be a little more out on them, but the schedule is after they get through that rough start. It does. You know, they to your point, Ryan. Just even the home road split is favorable for them.
Yeah, I mean that's you have 2 more home games than road games. All right, so then they're in Germany for the Chiefs game. So I assume someone on the Dolphins has the HGH hookup since the Tom Brady.
Who's
tampering.
gonna need the HGH?
Tua
For the arm strength.
Is any of the Dolphins fan base concerned over his weight gain?
Yeah, Rob, what do we make of him packing on some pounds?
No, I like it, and I think he needed it. You know, just so he doesn't get tossed around like a rag doll, and you know, I think he could catch a little bit better. So he kind of reminds me of that old Russell Wilson kind of body type. And he needed that. He was a little too fragile.
Oh, all right. I like this take. See, I was in the Reddit. I know what the fans are thinking, Sean. All right, so back to the schedule. We got the Germany game against the Chiefs. That has the potential to be the greatest international game ever played. That point spread
certainly
stands out to me.
Two of the best teams. I mean, the problem is with an international game, you gotta give it to the better head coach, and just Andy Reid in uncharted territory in Germany. Although Andy Reid, a guy who loves food, maybe gets to, go on some like bratwurst bender, and
he's also
gets distracted. It could go either way. Obviously, Chiefs are always a tough out, but yeah, in Germany, I don't know.
Chiefs could be flying directly from Denver. All right, so then you have the bye week. Dolphins, it seems to be a mixed bag here between the analytics community on if you're supposed to take the bye after the international game or not. Dolphins choosing to take the bye here. They come off the bye with the Raiders, then at Jets on Black Friday. A little prime time action here. I've heard rumors that this could be the Jets will be the team that plays on Black Friday every year, which is both fitting and annoying at the same time. And then we have the last of the quadrant at Commanders, which I'm just going to tell you right now that's going to be a sneaky spot for them.
Well, especially it's a back-to-back road spot, and then making them a 3.5 point road favorite. That feels like a game where the Commanders would randomly show up for. I don't think you're beating the Chiefs in Germany. I think you should destroy the Raiders at home. Jets in New York could be tough.
I'm giving them a split. Just putting that out there.
Split on what?
The Jets. I'm giving the Dolphins a sweep on the Pats, and they're chopping the other games.
Okay. See, I think this is a tough spot for them. I'm going to go 1-3. I'm going to do it 1-3.
Yeah, so I would also have them losing. I think the Chiefs game will be interesting, but I also have them losing the Jets, losing the Chiefs. And man, I did say the Commanders is losable.
But do they lose it?
I'll say 2. I'll go 2-2.
2-2. You got them 7-5. I got them 6-6. Rob's sitting at 5-3. Rob, how say you in these next 4?
I'm going to go 2-2 as well. Like I said, look at the split with the Jets. I think by the time it gets to Commanders, I think Ron Rivera will be fired. I think it's just going to be disarray by that time in the season. So I think we'll be able to go down and get that W. So I'll go 2-2 as well.
Spicy. All right, where are we at, Sean? Give it to me.
You and Rob are 7-5. I'm 6-6.
All right, so final 5. They only have one road game here. Kicks off with the Titans on Monday Night Football, where they will be heavily favored. Then Jets at home, Cowboys at home, at Ravens, Bills at home to close out the year. I don't know. I still think when you leave, you're going to leave the ice cold of Buffalo and come down to Miami. I still think that will matter. If you're a Dolphins fan, I guess you're hoping for some heat in that one. Hard to give them they're a good home team. You highlighted that earlier in the show,
they really
Sean.
are.
And so for me to be pessimistic, I think you'd have to say is 3-2. And to me, I think I can stretch that and say maybe they get hot and it's 4-1.
What are you going with?
4-1.
4-1. Wow. So
what did I finish on?
11-6.
Okay.
Do I take the Dolphins over?
Which, by the way, that would be a massive step forward considering the schedule. Although when you had some nuggets about how difficult the schedule is, but then we walked through it. It doesn't seem as a lot of the nuggets are derived from the idea that the Bills, Patriots, and Chiefs exist on the schedule, and the Bills twice.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, yeah, it's a win totals thing, but if you look at how they spread it out, you look at the fact that they are good at home. They do have 9 true home games, and only 7 true road games, with the 1 neutral in Germany. I think that obviously is big in their favor.
I want to hear what Rob. Rob, what are you doing?
Rob, what are you doing? You going 4-1?
I can possibly see 5-0 just if we if we map out, because we give them splits with the Bills and the, so we give the wins on the front side, and then that week 14 to 16 we're home for 3 straight weeks. We don't even go anywhere, and then the Ravens we've beaten the last 2 times. So I mean, 5-0. I'll go 4-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5-0.
Woo. You guys are talking me into this Dolphins team. All right,
Ramsey will be back by the 2, so we'll be cooking. Ramsey will be back.
All right. Well, I'll do it. 4-1. Give me 4-1 on the Dolphins.
Wow. Worth noting, Dallas is on the back-to-back of a back-to-back road spot after playing Buffalo and then Philly the week before that. So I'm getting there. I think that's high enough because at the end of the day, I do think, as much as Aaron Rodgers is starting to scare me with, I mean, he's talking to Zach Wilson he's using the head. He's not just wearing the headset; he's using the headset. I am very, very nervous, but I want to put the Dolphins in a position where, listen, my simulation, Sean, the Dolphins win this division in a decent amount of the outcomes, and their price is still what was the price on the board, Sean? Because
division is 3-1.
Okay, good. Still 3-1.
Yep.
Excellent. So I don't even get to brag about a ton of CLV, which is unfortunate.
Sharp Kramer over there.
It's a little unfortunate.
See, I'll give them the over at 9.5.
Ask me what day I placed the bet.
What day?
April 11th.
Okay.
Ask me what time.
12:30 a.m.
1:59 a.m. That's how you know it's a banger. After the show, I was just doing a little shopping while I was hungry. So yeah, I want to be in a position where I'm backing them at 3-1. I think it's a great way to fade the Bills as Brian Daboll's removes Josh Allen's brain and takes it to New York. Now 2 years removed, and a good way to fade Robert Saleh, all-time good guy, and Aaron Rodgers, the villain. So,
all right, you talk me into the division at 3-1 just because of the price, but I am also going to play.
Hold on, this big Rob, you're co-signing that one, right?
Yes, division, and if you want to play it safe, what is that, to make the playoffs -105? That's damn near even money.
I like that. I like the confidence. I mean, they made the
playoffs -105. Yeah,
they made the playoffs with all the issues last year.
That's true. I mean, you probably make playoffs better than over 9.5 wins, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can play it that way as well too.
I think you're right, Sean. Because look, probably not going to happen, but could they get in? I mean,
I'll put us all down for make playoffs because I do think them at 9-8 getting in is almost better than them getting 10 wins. I will, just for a little bit of the old Tua hater in me. No. I'm gonna play Dolphins fewest wins at 90-1.
What are you doing?
The reason is, Ryan,
children could be listening.
We saw
not Tua.
No, but look at what happened in the second half of the season. If, God forbid, there's a health issue at quarterback with that offensive line, their schedule is tough. I think there's a world where this, in the same way they started out 8-3 and their season got completely derailed. What if something like that happens early in the season? This team really could be in trouble. So I think that is in the range of
Wow.
outcomes. That is a fun hedge to me being positive on the Dolphins.
Wow.
Rob, what other
Can
other kind of prop bets do you like?
Well, I actually have something
Sure.
like that. It's a stack. It would be a stack with your thing,
Okay.
but Dolphins fewest points, 18 to 1.
Well, so let's see it. Don't you like fewest wins at 90 to 1?
I guess it's a similar thing. You're probably right. It's probably an easier path.
Oh, I mean,
Oh no, I'm sorry. Least points against, not least.
least points against. Okay.
Yeah. No, never mind then. I misread my own note.
Talk us through how they let up the least amount of points.
Well, it's Vic Fangio.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the reason the odds are a little bit longer.
I like
is
Fangio.
Their offense is going to be putting up points, but I think you're simply just playing the fact that, and this was another one that was made with Ramsey. So you had Ramsey, you had Howard. Felt like they were being a little disrespected. Bradley Chubb's still there. Vic Fangio always. I mean, I think the worst Vic Fangio's defense has finished is 17th or something like that in yards per play. So never bad, always pretty good, and often great.
Rob, in the chat, people are talking about a QB controversy looks imminent. That they would maybe be better with Mike White under quarterback. In your heart of hearts, Rob, just you and me. Just you and me. Does Tua have it?
Yes, he does have it. He will show it this year. And everyone's getting on Tua, but let's not forget Kenny Pickett, 2 concussions in 56 days last year. No one's talking about that. Everyone's just
good point.
Now you know he lives up in New England because he's got all the concussion data on the other quarterbacks. He's coming with some.
That's how you know. That's how you know. That's how you know you're a homer. Why does the media not talk about this other guy's concussions? You got all the concussion stats ready to go. That's how you know you're a true Tua fan. If you got concussion stats at the ready.
I believe in him. And think about this: if he plays 15 or 16 games this year, I'm talking. He's probably going to be MVP. That's the thing. If the Dolphins win 12, 13 games. More than likely, Tua is probably the MVP of the season of the NFL.
His MVP odds are some of the craziest shit. Like I went into this preview. I was like, you know what? You almost have to bet Tua to be the MVP.
What's that price?
If it hits, like if everything stays, like the offense was on that path, it's 22 to 1. Which is there's a tier of guys. Trevor Lawrence 15 to 1, Aaron Rodgers 16 to 1, Justin Fields 20 to 1, Tua 22 to 1, Dak 25 to 1. Nothing. I want nothing to do with that tier. I want nothing to do with that.
Rob, are you in on Tua MVP?
I do like that, but I also like him to lead the lead in passing yards. I think that's
okay.
I think that's 14 to 1. And last I saw, I think his over on passing yards is less than 4,000.
All right, I'll put you down for most passing yards, 15 to 1.
I like that. He's just leaning in. He knows you're a Tua hater, and he's just leaning full send.
A little skeptical about our boy Tua, but it was an up and down year, and I felt like every time I bought in on Tua, he got hurt. He didn't look good. So Tua, don't make me look like an asshole again.
It's objectively.
I'm buying in a little bit here, but I'm keeping the back door cracked open a little bit with my fewest wins.
So it's pretty crazy that Tua is even in the division is a dog to Aaron Rodgers in passing yards. Something to put. So anyway, but back to so here's the way. If I wouldn't play the Tua MVP. I said that was a little crazy, but I think we often talk about the coach of the year, and if the ceiling case hits for this team, is it a coach of the year situation? Because that's going to give you better payout than most of their regular season futures, and then you don't have to wait.
But the problem is they did win 9 games last year. So again, you need. I think
they win this division though, and Tua looks great, and the scheme has progressed another year.
I think Tua would get all the buzz. Tua would get the offensive player of the year, MVP type stuff, chatter. I don't like Mike McDaniel's path to coach.
It's 18 to 1. So McDaniel. 18 to 1, Tua MVP 22 to 1.
I would rather take Miami Dolphins #1 seed in the AFC, and I think that price would be similar. I like that better.
I'll look that up. The other one I was going to throw in the pot because it's around that same price point is Tyreek Hill, Offensive Player of the Year. 20.
I mean, not to bring it back to the Eagles, but look what the Eagles did. They were 9-8. They had made the playoffs the previous year, lost. Had a little bit of an injury thing with the quarterback there. They came back. They got to 13-4. Were the number 1 seed. Didn't win MVP. Didn't win Coach of the Year. Did get the number 1 seed. So that's why I kind of. Because there's going to be a rookie quarterback or someone that makes a huge jump wins wise, and I think the fact that they went 9-8 last year hurts Mike McDaniel and his Coach of the Year case.
So McDaniel 18-1 off the board. So what about Tyreek Hill, Offensive Player of the Year, 20-1?
That's not horrible. But it's just tough because he's going to have that exact same year, maybe even better. So
yeah, no.
I guess if Tua plays the entire season. I don't know. I like my slight positive on Miami. I can't do the full. I can't drink all that teal Kool-Aid. Sorry, guys.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
you got the Fangio thing won me over enough. But so Kramer, any other props you're gonna add in here?
I was waiting. You're not gonna give out you're not giving out any 2 interception stuff. You're not hating.
Well, again, because I think if it goes bad for the Dolphins, it's because Tua isn't playing. So I don't think he plays the entire season and also sets the interception record.
Okay,
leads the league in interception.
Very proud of your maturity here, not coming after Tua irrational.
Well, I mean, he doesn't throw a very catchable ball. You saw that game against the Steelers where they dropped all those interceptions because Tua can't throw a spiral to save his life.
All right, I'll throw out one last one. I think. For certain teams, it can make sense that you can get over 3.5 wins for them in the division. So again, this is probably similar to the make playoffs or the over win total, but this one you can get a +120.
Yeah.
Which do you like better? Playoffs over 9.5 or over 3.5 in the division?
Oh,
I think I might
probably make playoffs.
I might play this big. Actually, this I like the most. For me.
You like
over
what?
3.5 wins in the division.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that.
I love that. We just talked it out. 4-2 in the division.
Yeah, I don't have them sweeping the Patriots. I think that's the difference. And again, the AFC East, even in down years, ends up being somewhat competitive. So I think getting to that 4-2 record, it's possible, but I think it's going to be tough.
I like the ping pong table.
Remember the ping pong table? There's always this story. Like last year when the Dolphins were struggling, it was like Tyreek Hill says, "Get rid of the ping pong table in the locker room," and then everyone's like, "Oh man, this Dolphins team's dialed in. They're serious." And then it was just because they wanted to replace it with a better ping pong table.
Yeah, they were just getting a new design.
Yeah, they got like a custom table. The ping pong always is happening. Rob, any other prop bets you want to toss out before we get to our MLDs, aka most likely DGen?
The Tyreek Hill over on yards, I think is only around 1,400. And like you said, to the point, if Tua is going to play most of the year, Tyreek is probably going to get close to 2,000, if not go over 2,000. I think for Miami to be successful, that has to be part of it too.
Patrick Fisher in the YouTube chat saying you guys are off the rails. McDaniel's the only reason to it is successful.
Yeah,
I don't.
He's still there.
Yeah, which again is why I'm cautiously optimistic about them. That being said, I don't think like that doesn't help you per se in the Coach of the Year market. You know what I mean?
I think McDaniel's different because he's different, and I think that could there's a lot of younger, nerdier writers who vote for this kind of shit now. And I assume like they're intrigued by someone that looks like them, that talks like
it's
that.
Just he's
5'9", 180 pounds, underdog story. They want him to get it.
I would take alternate like win total over 13.5 or something crazy before I take Coach of the Year. He just doesn't. They were too good last year.
I found the 20-1 bet that makes the most sense. Most points.
Most points.
Yeah.
So you're going most points and least points allowed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Playing both those markets.
Like it.
I got them in my pocket, Sean. They may have been placed.
Your
after
pocket
dark.
is heavy with some tuna.
Well, what I found in looking at this is I bet not only do I have most and least points, but I also have multiple division bets. which the only other team I've done that on is the Giants.
So you're in good company, Rob. You and the Giants and Dolphins. Going
this
all
is
the
our
way.
year. I'm going to parlay when I'm in Vegas. I plan on parlaying the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Falcons.
Rob Kramer parlay. All right.
Yeah, I love it.
Unified.
Okay, time for everyone's favorite award, aka the most likely DGen, the MLD, where we predict who we think is going to get busted for gambling on the NFL and ending up getting suspended. I'll start off. This one was easy for me. Again, maybe chalky, but we have personal experience because we were out there hanging out in the wind at Las Vegas, and a gentleman by the name of Tyreek Hill rolled up to the craps table and was hanging out playing a ton of craps. And not only was he wasn't playing regular craps, he was playing a special version where no craps, which is like an alternate game of craps, which is really, you only do that kind of stuff if you love gambling.
It's like Spanish 21.
And
just go find a blackjack table.
And him and his entire crew kept playing the hard 10 because of course his number is 10. So that right there is that is hardcore DGen activity. Hats off to you, Tyreek Hill. But I'm worried that if you love craps and gambling that much, you might also get caught up betting on, if there was one receiver in the NFL who is going to get busted betting on his over receiving yards, it's Tyreek Hill, and it's not even close. You know I'm right, Rob. You know I'm right. He's a confident man.
Also worth noting, not to blow up his spot, but DGens also can be very self-aware, and he had a security team to make sure he didn't fall victim into any other vices.
There were some enterprising women who were saw a business opportunity by possibly connecting themselves to Tyreek Hill. I mean, the guy should have just walked around with a velvet rope, because that's really what it felt like. There were women trying to get up. Hey, you don't want someone to blow in your dice? It's like, get in line, lady.
He is short.
Yeah.
McDaniel and him, I could see why they get along.
I mean, they must call him Cheetah, because it wasn't. You see that guy and you're like, all right, he's not some massive dude. He's got to be fast as hell.
Yeah.
Rob, do you have a MLD, someone on the Dolphins roster that you think could get busted for betting on sports?
I don't have anyone on the roster, but I have someone in the building. His name is Steven. We know he likes to break the rules. He offered to pay Flores $100,000 a week to lose.
Yes.
He had other things in mind when that was going on. I mean, he's always taking risks. He does what it takes to win, and he's very excited for this year too. So I won't be surprised if he's sprinkling some money on some overs, some Super Bowl stuff. I'm going to go with Stephen Ross for sure.
Yes, sir.
Stephen Ross is a great MLD candidate because he's already gotten busted for tampering. So to your point, if he's willing to lose a first round pick, he's probably willing to lose 25, 50 grand, whatever it is, on some bets. First ever owner, Ryan. So congrats to Stephen Ross, first owner nominated for an MLD. I'm sure he's excited for that.
Well, and that was who my MLD was. As you mentioned, if you're paying $100K for a loss, what else are you paying?
Yes.
Where else are you paying for someone to take a dive? Like, if you're doing it in the area where you would get in the most trouble, what else are you having people dive on? Stock prices?
Yeah.
What else is he involved in? He's got horses, I believe. He's involved in horse racing.
Anyone involved in horse racing, immediate red flag when it comes to DGen activity.
What about boxing? Has he been involved in a fight? Look, I don't know how else you put anyone else. I mean, and we didn't even mention the Sean Payton tampering. I don't think we mentioned the Tom Brady tampering. Did we mention both tampering cases?
Oh yeah, they were also, well, it was part of the Brady thing, right, Rob? That they were going to get Sean Payton in, get rid of Flores, and bring in Brady at the same time. Like, it was this big move. He was going to pull everything off. Got none of it and lost the first round pick.
Do we believe Brian Flores when he says that Stephen Ross offered him $100K a game to lose?
I can see it, honestly. I mean,
it feels like a weird thing for Flores to make up, right?
Yeah.
Like it's, I don't know. I mean, maybe obviously they didn't get along, so maybe he thought he could throw some shade at him by making this up. But again, why would he make that up? It's not like Hugh Jackson, where Hugh Jackson was 1-15 and said that was great. I think Hugh Jackson came on like after the Flores thing. He was like, oh yeah, I was also getting paid to lose, and they investigated and they're like, no, Hugh, you just sucked. No one was trying to pay you to lose. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, my question is like, why would he make that up?
I don't think he did. And that's why I think Ross is a degen. I think he's just a rich guy that does. It's like, if you're a rich guy with infinite money, what the fuck do you care about anything? And if you look at some of the things that Stephen Ross has said over the years, I mean, he once predicted that Chad Henne would be better than Dan Marino. I actually don't remember that, but apparently this person said it. They wrote it down. He also has repeatedly suggested that they blame the general manager for the Dolphins mishaps, not him. Through multiple general managers, this was my favorite quote in 2013. He said he was out looking for a young Don Shula, and he hired Joe Philbin. Which, if you can remember, maybe one of the worst coaching hires.
Also, not very young, right? Like,
no, not at all.
Joe Philbin. The problem was he was kind of like old and set in his ways, from what I remember from the Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
All right, let's recap the bets. Of course, thanks for hopping on, Big Rob. What's your Twitter handle? Where can people find Big Rob?
Big Rob 1989-36 on Twitter.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kramer was saying we need to find. He said you need to switch your Twitter number to something like related to Tua. So maybe what's Tua's number? 5?
One after this year. We'll
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Big Rob just 1.
That's a big life change. Throwing it in the handle.
Yes. All right. So Big Rob has him going 11-6, and so does Kramer. I'm 10-7. I guess we all like the over 9.5 wins in the division. 3-1, I think, because it feels like a little bit more of a crapshoot. I like that. Oh, and shout out to the production team, even including Ryan's timestamp on the graphic of when he placed the bet. Miami fewest wins as my hedge there at 90-1. Rob likes make playoffs. I think we all do because of the price. Kramer's on fewest points against, most points scored, over 3.5 division wins, and then Rob on the over passing yards for Tua, over Tyreek receiving yards, and then Tua most passing yards for the league, 15-1. And of course our MLDs, Kramer and Big Rob both came to a great answer there with Stephen Ross. And I mean, what better way than the firsthand experience for Tyreek Hill? So I feel like we really nailed our MLDs there.
And honestly, it's in some ways it's genius by Goodell, because what better? I mean, he's watching Formula One. Why is Formula One so popular? It's rich billionaires fighting with one another. Expose more of the drama with ownership.
Create the drama.
Ownership is what people want to see. That's how you diversify your audience. Anyway, Stephen Ross seems like a fucking
he's
real
right
interesting guy.
Rob, thanks for calling in. Fins up, and thank you everyone for tuning in. Toss us a nice rating review over on Apple Podcasts. If you're going to be at the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton this weekend, we will be out there. Come out, say what's up. Of course, Circa Weekend at the end of the month, August 24th to 26th, and the Patreon, the war on corporate gambling. It's an arms race out there. We need your help. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, second the money green. He's Ryan.
Tuanon is growing stronger, Sean.
Kramer, let it ride.